Well, once again, here I am, laying underneath my van, gritting my teeth and trying to smile. Because as you all know, I like nothing more than to lay underneath my camper van. And today I'm pleased to say it has absolutely nothing to do with my DPF. And since cleaning out my DPF, I'm happy to report it's working fairly well. Things are going good, fingers crossed. I'm not saying no more than that because I don't want to jinx myself. But the reason I'm under my van today is because my diesel heater has stopped working, and it would appear I have an airlock. And I thought to myself, what a great opportunity to show you guys a tool that I use when I bleed the diesel heater fuel lines. And it's a really cheap, really simple tool to use, and I'm pretty sure some of you may find this quite interesting, so that's why I'm making today's video, to show you how I use a vacuum pump to bleed my diesel heater fuel lines. And with that said, let's get out from underneath my van and I'll show you the vacuum pump and how it works. Oh god. So here we have my vacuum pump. It's a very useful tool to have. Its main purpose in life is to check for vacuum leaks in an engine, but you can also use one of these for bleeding out fuel lines, brake lines and anything else you may come across. In this case I'm going to use it to bleed out my diesel heater fuel line. So let's take a look at this and see how it works. Now it works similar to a bicycle pump. There's a cylinder with a plunger inside, and as that moves up and down, the plunger moves inside the cylinder. And in this case, rather than creating pressure, it creates vacuum, because it's kind of reversed. You see, as I pull that, the cylinder moves up and down now. If I put my finger over the end and block it, you'll see the needle move, and that's how much vacuum it's creating. I'll take my finger off, you hear the little pop, and the needle goes back down. So there you go, it's kind of, like I say, a reverse to a bicycle pump. Now in this kit, it does come with this vial here, and what we do, we put all this together. When this is all assembled, we then attach this end to the fuel line, and by creating a vacuum, the vacuum goes down this, it sucks in here, the vacuum then comes down here, or the fuel will come down here, collect in this vial, and none of that fuel will go into the actual pump itself. That's the idea anyway, in principle. So there you go, that's my vacuum pump, and that's how we use it to bleed a diesel heater fuel line. So let's get back under the van and I'll show you exactly how it works. Wish me luck. So the first thing I'm going to do is push this wire here and unplug the diesel pump like that, and then I'm going to disconnect the fuel line here, and this is going to allow me to put my vacuum hose pipe on here, which will then, I'll suck the fuel back and see if any vacuum builds up. If it does, it means I've got a blockage in my jet, and I'm expecting a little bit of diesel to come out of this. Here we go. Try not to get it on the camera. Let's put that in there like that. And now, because the other end of this pipe is going to the diesel heater, as I pump this, you can see there's no vacuum. So because there's no vacuum, that means there's no blockage. So that's that ruled out. Now that I know the jet in the diesel heater isn't blocked by drawing fuel in reverse, I'm going to concentrate on the actual fuel pump itself. And I've left the fuel line disconnected from the fuel pump, and I've replaced it with the line from the vacuum pump. Oh, there's no vacuum under this. I've reconnected up the cable. I'm going to switch the diesel heater on, let the pump pump, and see if any fuel comes down this line into my vial. To do that, I need to jump back in the van. So I'll switch the diesel heater on, hopefully the pump will start pumping and fuel will start coming down this line. If it doesn't, then I know I've got a faulty fuel pump. Well, the fuel pump is pumping, but there's no fuel coming through. So now I'm going to try and apply some vacuum to help it. There we go, now you can see the fuel coming through now. Maybe it's just an excess of air in there. Look how much fuel we've drawn through. It's quite a lot of fuel, quite a lot of air. So now, once that's finished doing what it's doing, I'm going to disconnect the fuel line from the pump, from the diesel heater end, and then draw the fuel through, fill this line up with diesel, reconnect it all. I think we'll be golden then. Alright, let's reconnect this up. I think the fuel pump's had it. So the only conclusion I can make is that my diesel heater fuel pump has given up the ghost for some strange reason, and all I've done is move it from inside the van to outside the van. And a lot of people criticise me for this, for having my diesel heater fuel pump inside my van. And the reason I had my diesel heater fuel pump inside my van was to make filming these videos a lot easier. But I decided for some strange reason to move my diesel heater fuel pump underneath the van to make it a little bit quieter, and also that's where it's supposed to be, right? I'm kind of thinking I wish I just left it inside the van. Now I do like to use cable ties to hold the fuel pump up, because it means I don't have to drill holes in the chassis of my van. I mean, nobody wants to drill holes in their van, right? Not unnecessarily anyway. So that's why I simply use cable ties. And I've just realised I've got a diesel pump right in my chin. Let's just hang that up there for a minute. That's it. So there you go, new fuel pump fitted. Let's hope that works. Let's try it out. Now, because the diesel heater has sensed there's no diesel in the system, it comes up with this code E10. Now, to get rid of this, there's only one way to do that, and that's to pull the fuse out to reset it. But because I use a Bluetti, and the Bluetti comes with an app, I'll just unlock my phone. All I need to do, oh, by the way, here's Rebecca, busy editing. All I need to do is turn the Bluetti off, like that, and then turn it back on again, and that will reset the diesel heater. You see, it's gone 00. So now I'll turn it on. We'll jump back underneath the van and see if that fuel pump works. That should start pumping in a minute, and we'll see fuel coming up this fuel line here, hopefully. Yeah, there's definitely fuel. I can see bubbles coming up the line now. Any minute now it should appear here. And again, because of this fuel line is quite long, it may take a couple of cycles for the fuel to actually make its way up to the diesel heater. It's here already, so I reckon in a minute it will start going again. It does 2 attempts. I don't know why they do that. But the diesel heater is now cut out like it should, because it's sensing there's no fuel. But in a moment it will try again. So here we go, it's doing its second attempt again. Oh yeah, I can see fuel there. I don't know if you can see it. There's definitely fuel going up the line. Should appear here soon. There it is. The diesel heater will probably cut out before the fuel gets to where it wants to be. But that's okay, we'll just recycle it again. There she goes. Oh, I don't know, it might get there in time. There's smoke coming out of the exhaust. That's got to be a good sign. I don't think anyone in the workshop is going to thank me for this though. I can hear the rumble of flame, the fuel heat coming out of the exhaust. Oh yeah, baby, this could be it. Well, it's definitely working now. It's roaring away. I'm getting a bit smoked out under here, so I'm going to let this now settle down, let it prime itself out, get all the air out of the film lines. And once that's all done, I'll switch it off and then tidy these up. I'll mount the pump up like this. Maybe I'll even shorten this line, it's a bit long. Yeah, but I'm going to let it do its thing first. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Ta-ra for now. Got it working.